Welcome to pattern making class. I'm Annette Julie, and I would like to be able to show you today the necessary and extra tools that you can use for pattern making. I'm going to start way over here. This is a yardstick. Metal or wood works just fine. Then we have two forms of a hip curve. This one by Fairgate. This one here, this is a hip curve, but this is also known as a French curve. This is by Sunray. Then we have two metal straight edge rulers, Fairgate. And then this one here with all the holes in it could be used for buttonholes, marking, and buttons. Down here at the bottom I have a 2 by 18 inch clear plastic ruler. And then here we have an L square, metal. Here we have two pattern weights with handles. A great alternative are some cans of tuna. Instead of these pattern weights, you can use cans of tuna. You're going to need some tape, preferably the magic tape. Here's the green one, here's the regular one. And if you have a tape dispenser, that'd be great. But if you don't, that's okay. You need to spend that tape back. Some pattern makers use push pins. I don't use them too often, but we've got some right there. You could use some glue stick as a backup when you run out of tape. I've got some buff out and some white out because we use pattern making paper, which is white, and sometimes I might have to use the white out. And then we use hard paper, which is more of a manila color, and then we would use that buff out. So then we have fabric tape measure, a retractable metal tape measure, retractable fabric tape measure, a variety of pens in different colors, fine point, number 2 pencil, a hard lead pencil, and then some marking pencils for marking fabric, tailor's chalk, a sharpener to keep everything nice and sharp. Of course, you can use a mechanical pencil, eraser to erase your pattern making, and a variety of clear plastic rulers for curve shapes. Here's one. Here's a second one. A calculator. Why? Because maybe your phone's going to go dead. Or maybe you don't want anyone to think you're messing with your phone at work. And here we have back here a pin magnet. This is fantastic to keep my pins on. Number 17 dressmaking pins. You can buy these by a half pound. These are from Rex, and boy, Rex and Company, they've been making them since 1927, so I think those guys know how to make a nice premium steel dressmaking pin. It's 1 inch long. Stapler, staple remover. Over here we have a pattern hook. Not all patterns are made on computers. Not every company can afford to make a pattern on a computer, and certainly when you start your own company, you need to hand pattern make. And here is the pattern hook in the pattern. Then we have paper scissors, We have fabric scissors. We have a compass. Never used it, but it is fun to have one, just in case you want to draw some circles for your pattern. And then we get into a little bit of the dangerous section here. We have the scissors, and we have some dangerous tools. This is an awl, A-W-L. This is used to poke holes, and definitely do this on a cutting mat. Here we have a cutting mat. In case you use a rotary cutter with paper or fabric, or in case you're using an awl, you don't want to puncture your kitchen table. But if you don't have an awl, or you don't intend on buying one, you can use a seam ripper. So here's the seam ripper. That is the same point there on the end. And then here we have a very sharp tracing wheel, used for pattern making, and then a little bit more of a dull tracing wheel. And we have a notcher to take out a little notch of paper in our pattern. Then of course we're going to need that pattern paper. And if you don't have access to pattern paper, you can use tracing paper. You can use butcher paper. You can use the hard paper I showed you on that pattern. You can even use construction paper. You could even use 8.5 by 11 printer paper and tape it all together. This is a great thing a pattern maker would have too, which is, this is by Freudenberg. I'm partial to their interfacing. And then this is just a guide on different non-woven interfacing and interconstruction and batting, everything that I can choose from being the pattern maker, and I can check out the different kinds of interconstruction and what this company would advise I use them for collars or dresses or what have you. So it's great as a pattern maker to have some information. And I believe that is all the pattern making tools that I have at my hands available right now. But let's talk about what you should get, okay? Because you don't need everything here. If you have access or can buy a curve ruler over here, a hip curve, this is the one I prefer. This very form French curve. Please get one of these if you can. If not, I'll give you a copy, trace out a piece of paper, and then you can cut it out in cardboard. Please get this 2 by 18 inch clear plastic ruler. This is necessary. Please have a fabric tape measure, some tape, some pencils, and some different colored pens or pencils, and a sharpener and an eraser, and some pins, and your 2 scissors. Now, if you have a little extra money, I would love for you to get a notcher and a sharp tracing wheel. But if you don't, we can get away with you not having those. If you have extra money, also you can get this L square. But again, if you don't have extra money, that's okay. Just use this ruler down here and that curve ruler. We don't need any pattern hooks at this point because you're not turning anything in like that. And I think those are the necessary tools, but feel free to collect what you have around you. Maybe your friends or family might want to contribute to your tools. Thanks so much for listening to the video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. This is Annette Julie.